Okay, so composite. Think about composite compound as a combination. Think about those as a combination. So more than one put together. Think about it as more than one combined. Yes. You can think of it as made up of different parts. So we're doing area, compound, composite means the same thing. Area, so you'll be having different shapes that are compounded, that means put together. So yesterday we did the same thing with your hand. There's no formula to get the area. There's no like, oh, you just multiply base times height. You had to do what you did yesterday. You had to do different pieces together to give you the total. This one is like the extra credit that you had on your test last week. So that's what composite compound means. Yes. Yes, come trade me. It's going to be a combination, different parts together. Different parts. Okay, so when we do composite area, it's going to be the area of combined figures. And then the example was what you did yesterday with your hand. That was the whole point of it. To make you realize that you can find the area of essentially anything, and even if you don't have a formula, you can find the area of using the formulas that you do know, like rectangles and triangles and trapezoids and squares. So I'm just going to show you this example. There's the hand. There's no formula for area of a hand, so this is composite because we're putting together different rectangles to make the area of a hand and adding them together. So that's the same thing here. We'll do an example and then you'll just practice on your own. There's nothing, how would I say, when you do this, notice, let me show you some different examples. So he made a lot of rectangles. He still found the area of his hand. This student made a lot of like long skinny rectangles. You still get the same answer. So if you, there's not like one correct way, like you had to put the rectangle here. If you didn't do this, it was going to be wrong. When you do this, he used smaller rectangles in a square here. He made rectangles out of his whole fingers, and I want to say I had someone make a trapezoid. He made little bitty, he just knew, okay, if I just do 5 by 10 everywhere, I'm going to make those exact rectangles. I'm trying to find Kishana's who made a trapezoid. This student right here made triangles. So there's not like one, you had to do it this way. There's more than one way of getting these correct. You could see a shape somehow, and it's easier for you. Let me give you one example from Excel that will start in just a minute. The only, I don't know, it's not difficult, but the only part to it is that you'll have to make the correct assumptions. I'll show you what I mean. I don't think a lot of people gave it a try when we did the extra credit question. Okay. And this is to scale. This is not to scale. not to scale. So if you're like, well, how come that one's 8 and it looks bigger than the one that's 10? That one's 8. This one's 9. I'm going to make this one 5. And this one 8. Okay. Now, when you first start Excel, it's going to give you all the lengths. Like, it's going to have everything labeled. The more and more you do it, it's going to start removing some, Kijana. That way you know, that way you have to figure out, okay, well, what is that side? And I made this one on purpose. The first ones, I'll give you all the lengths. So, what would you like? How would you like to solve this? You want to cut it in half here, or cut it this way?
Which one's better?
It doesn't matter. You want a vertical cut or a horizontal cut? Okay. So then I've got two shapes there. So I've got two rectangles, so length times width. So I know my length right here is 8. What's my width though? How do you know it's 5?
4. No, 4.
How do you know it's 5, 4?
4 is cut in half.
You don't know if it's cut in half because it's not made to scale. So I know this whole thing is 8, right? I know this part is 5. So how much, hold on, how much of this is left? 3. So then 8 times 3. So my area would be 8 times 3. So that would be 24 square kilometers. Okay, and then I am going to do this one. So I know my height is 9. My width is 5. So that would be, yep, square kilometers. So my total area for the whole composite shape would be 24 plus 45. 69 square kilometers. I'm trying to think if there's... Now they're going to get more complex. You might have something sticking out through here, or you might have a trapezoid, or you might be able to make a triangle, but that's pretty much what you're doing today. Say one more time.
You reach like 80 points, what's going to be the hardest thing?
And that's what I'm trying to think. They're going to have less for you. I don't know if you're going to have to solve anything.
How do we get less information? Like, why take away some parts?
It'll just look different. Like the lengths. Why do they do that? What was your question?
So you're missing like 2 sides and you can't solve it that way. How would you get the other side without some form of help?
The 4 sides that are here, I don't think I could take one away and you would know.
Well, would I Excel do that?
No, that doesn't make any sense. I'm trying to think of you having to solve one. The only thing I could think of is it would be like on a coordinate grid and then you can just count.